Hey everyone, it's Stephen Williams with the creditrepairshop.com making this video this Friday, and I'm going to talk about some good stuff here. I still have not got the audio where I can post it on from the radio show that I was on a couple of weeks ago. I know I promised to have that uploaded, but they sent it in a file where I couldn't open it, and they said that they're going to resend it, and so we'll get that posted. It has some great information on there. I want to talk again today about the debt, uh, the uh, the debt that's been released in the market. It is incredible. Uh, I've never seen it this way before. This is like a precursor to the economy going into a downfall, I believe, because of how much debt is being released into the market. And I've had some emails and some comments from people saying that this is fake, that this is not happening, that there's not this type of debt that's being released in the market. And I want to show it to you, but I have to cover up for privacy the person's name. But you can see here, you can see where it shows the amounts. Look at that. These are the amounts. I don't know. It might be kind of backwards on the camera there, but you can see we have $122 million. Again, another. I think we had another one that was 120 something million, 130 million, 122 million in debt being released to the market. These are the department store cards, people buying clothes and stuff like that and not wanting to pay on them. $79,000 in auto loans, $79 million, $79 million with auto loans. Let's see here. Where's the title? Cash advance ones. Where are we at? Where are we at? Cash advance. 2.2 million in cash advances, and we got another one here, a small one for payday loans, 30,000. I can tell you why the payday loans are probably going down, because people are easily able to get the garnishments if they start working again. Very easy to get the garnishment on the payday loan. Houses last month for this lender, 6.4 million on this lender. Multiple ones are 8 million for one, 3 million, 3 million, 3.5, 1.8, 400,000, 1.2 million, 4.9 million, 14 million, 69.322 million. All of these are debts that's being released into the market where debt collectors are buying these debts, and then they're using a strategy to go after people to collect them. And what I want to talk about again is the process. And the reason why I'm going to go over the process again is because what happens is, I was watching a video online from Bob Proctor, and he is a motivational speaker, and I would say even a level up from being a motivational speaker. He actually breaks it down on how things that we get work in our mind, and he broke it down, and I'm going to use it for this here, is because you have to go through what I'm telling you about credit repair. You have to hear it over and over and over again to really get it, because what happens in all of our mind is, I tell you something, and within that time period of when I'm telling it to you, you start thinking about something else. It might be something else that you got going on. It might be something else that comes across your computer, or it might be on when I give you an idea of how you're going to fix something, you go off on that idea without hearing exactly all of the information on how to fix that problem. And that's where a lot of us run into problems, is that we hear the first part and we're like, okay, I'm going to run with that and try to do something without getting all the information on how to do it. It's like, just take for instance, if baking a cake, if you knew that the icing tastes good and you knew you only need some eggs and all that stuff, you might mix all of that stuff together because it sounded good, but you didn't know that you had to put the recipe together a certain way to make the cake, to make it a cake that you can actually eat. And so what he talked about was when you have repetition is that you're going to hear this video that I'm talking about the first time, you're going to hear it, and then the next time when you go in and watch it, you're going to hear more. You're going to get past that point that you left watching the video. Mentally, you're going to still hear, but you're not listening to me. But the next time you listen to it, you're going to go further, and then next time you're going to go further, next time you're going to further. So what I'm going to do is talk about what you got to do when you get a collection from a request. You get that letter in the mail that says you owe this debt. You owe us this money, and what are you going to do about it? First thing you need to do is read the entire letter, because it may not be a letter. They may just be asking permission on or requesting that you dispute the debt. That's where they bought it, and now they're going to try to go after it. And the first step to go after it is to send you a letter in the mail saying, we believe you owe this debt, but if you read the fine lines underneath, it's saying if you don't believe you owe it, you have 30 days to dispute it. If you don't dispute it, that means that you owe it. Isn't that funny? If you don't say it's not yours, even though you believe it's not yours, the law says that you're saying, yes, the debt is yours. So when you get the letter, you get it. Even if it's a debt that you may be owed, you still need to dispute it to make sure that you are legally obligated to pay them the money. Request all the contracts, all of the information pertaining to it. Request the contract saying why they should pay you if the debt is proven to be from another company that you have to pay. Then you need to make sure that it's not past statute of limitations. When they send you that documentation, make sure that it's not past the statute of limitations. Statute of limitations is different for every state. You're going to have to look up online to find out your state statute of limitations. So now you get all the, and you have to validate it within that 30 days. I would send it certified mail, just where you know that they signed and got it. And then they're going to send you information back. And you don't always have to do that, but I'm just saying, if you want to take an extra step, do that. Send it certified mail. They get it. They're going to get all the documents. Some of them work faster than others. They're going to send you documentation back saying that you have to pay it. They're going to send you proof saying that you have to pay them because of whatever reason. If they do all of that, then you can go into the phase of settling the debt before it goes into them taking you to court. If they have already gotten a judgment, and a lot of people, we worked with a person today that said this, and you try to emphasize with people, and you know where they're coming from. Where they're coming from is that in their own mind, they don't want to come to the realization that it's time to pay the piper on a debt. If you get the request for the payment, and it has a case number of a judgment, even if you didn't show up for that judgment, that does not mean that the judgment did not go through. They got a default judgment. And there's nothing you're going to be able to do unless it's within 6 months. If you live in my state, it has to be 6 months. It might be different in your state. Look it up for your state. What is the timeline on, if you got a default judgment against you, what is the time frame that you have to go and reopen it in court? If it's past that period of time, you can't say I didn't get served and all of this stuff, because if they prove it by getting a default judgment, there's really nothing you can do. You could come up with every excuse that you can try to come up with, but it's not going to work. You're going to need to start the process of figuring out how you can resolve it, because if you don't, you're going to find yourself in a situation of getting a garnishment. And if you think about it, you can't get a garnishment without having a judgment. If your state allows it, then there are some states or certain circumstances that they can get a garnishment without having a court. The court is still going to order it. Your job is going to have a notice but a lot of people pretend like they didn't get that notice. So if you get if you get the request and it has a case number showing that they had a judgment, then the next step is not to argue with them, is to try to see how you can resolve it. Because in most cases, a judgment can last for 20 years, so they're going to get their money one way or another. But what you need to start doing is positioning yourself to be able to get some type of arrangement that you can afford. Because, like with the case that we had today, they got the garnishment, and now they're not willing to work with that individual at all. So now, if you find yourself in a position where they had the judgment, they they got the garnishment, now the next step is to get your garnishment worksheet if you didn't prepare it before, and see what is the legal amount that they're able to garnish you for according to the money that you have available to be garnished. Also, the next thing is to get what's called a poverty guideline for your state to see what amount of money can you even be garnished for. Here in our state of Wisconsin, you have to make over a certain amount of money if you have dependents, that you have children, and if you have a spouse that's not working. Those dependents count against what you're able to be garnished. If you fall below the poverty guidelines for the state, and there's a federal guideline, you may not even be able to be garnished even though they get the judgment. So that right there shows it. What I've just went through shows you step by step how to deal with uh, if you are running into that problem where they're coming after you for debt that you maybe didn't remember, or they're coming after you about it. Now, a lot of people have sent emails in Facebook and Google. They ask about how much we charge for our services. We charge for the complete service $584.95. You do need to have a monitoring service, and we do refer people to a company that we've negotiated a discount. They charge $16.95 per month. We get all three reports, all three scores, and monitoring services with $1 million insurance protection. But something that I want to also put into your mind is that a lot of people ask us how much we charge, but I've started having my reps ask them how important is it to you, what is it worth to you, because what we charge for the service, uh, if you're coming at it from that angle, well then that's what we charge. But you need to think about it from the point of view of what it's worth to you, because what I've seen from people that have followed through the process on we got to do our part, they got to do their part, they would tell us that it's worth a lot more than what we charge to do it. If you look on the website, we have a couple of individuals that have purchased homes. And when you purchase a home and it's yours, and you don't have to talk to no landlord, you can plant the flowers that you want. You can sit on the porch with no problem. You don't have to think about a landlord coming up, walking up on your house, or wanting to look into it, or calling somebody to get it fixed, or worrying about them raising the rent, or having to call them to deal with something that's going on with a neighbor. It's yours. It's 100% yours. And when we look at, they would say that the value of the service that we perform was a lot more than $584. We're talking saving thousands of dollars over the lifetime of their loan. We're talking about them having an investment that they can resell when they ever wanted to resell it. We're talking about them having a peace of mind that no one can come and say, oh, I'm selling my property and you got to get out. We're talking about having the credit repaired to where if they went to go get a loan or they needed a credit card or they needed something, they're not going to get ripped off because they understand, number one, when they got themselves back into the position that they wanted to be in, they're going to pay a lot more attention and not fall into the same traps that they fell into before. So when you're thinking about credit repair, you need to think about how what is it worth to you to get it fixed. And when people talk about, uh, what do I have to do? There's basically three things when you work with our company that you got to do. You got to, number one, you got to sign up and you got to get your data over to us, and we help you get the data. We need all three credit reports. Nobody is a psychic, and no one is a mind reader, and no one can go and order your credit reports without your permission. And we need to have a monitoring service. It doesn't matter if it's the one we refer you to or one that you already have, but it needs to be a paid service, because if it's not a paid service, we're not going to get the data that we need to get. If it's one of the free services, they do not provide you the data that we would need to repair your credit. And then there's a follow-up process. Number three is the follow-up process. And during the follow-up process, there's things that we continue to do, and then there's things that we're going to need to have you on the phone to do. And if you're not going to be there to do that, then it's not going to work. I don't care. It's not going to work. And also another thing, credit repair is about getting things removed, but it's also about getting things resolved. Almost all of the other credit repair companies that we see out there, all they're focused on is getting things removed and not resolved. We focus on getting things removed and resolved because, and you don't have to take my word for it, type in online, call any lender. They see a different report than what we see, even on a monitoring service. They see a different report. They see more than what we're even entitled to see. If you go to get a car, you go to get a mortgage, did you know that it's illegal for them to even give you that credit report? Because you're going to see things on there that you didn't even know about. You're going to see things on there if you've ever been arrested, if you're a convicted felon. You're going to see things on there that may not even be shown on your report, but they're going to have that history on there. So that's why I'm very proud when I put what we did for people. A lot of people show testimonials of people that got stuff removed, but they don't show the end result that those people were able to go out and get things. Because if, like, the people that got houses, everyone knows when you go to get a mortgage, they have what's called underwriters, and those underwriters are going to look deep into your financial history on your reports. And if they see anything that shows that they're not going to be able to get the money back on that house, they're going to disqualify you for that house. Now I'm going to take a drink of water. They're going to disqualify you from getting that house. So that's why we focus on deletion and resolving, because we don't want anything to come back at you. And I think that that's where we stand out. That's different. And I also think that that's where most of the friction comes in, because people are more focused on just getting stuff deleted and not getting things resolved. So if you need help with your credit, please take a look at our website, thecreditrepairshop.com. We have two programs. We have a do-it-yourself program where you can watch all the videos and see how to do it yourself if you're that type of person. Or we could do it for you. So you can go to our website, and if you're on thecreditrepairshop.com, the creditrepairshop.com, at the top, you can click on credit repair services, and that'll show you what we can do for you. Or if you go to the home page, you could look at what we offer for the membership services. So until next time, thank you for your time.